Okay, sing on air. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Metaphysical Bible Hangout. I'm Reverend Sherri James, Senior Minister for Understanding Principles Church, and I'm very excited because this lesson tonight is off the chain, and I am so excited about this lesson. I'm so excited to share it. I'm so excited to hear your thoughts about it. I think it's really, really powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the question that we're asking tonight is, have you given your all? Have you given your all? And that is the question I think that anyone must ask themselves is, have you given your all? It is an all important question. And it's the difference between success and failure. Like there's that much on the line. And so before we get going, I just want to take a pulse on where everyone is. And I'm going to ask you to just kind of rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you someone who gives their all, or do you hold back? If you think about yourself and you say, you know, the kind of person I am, are you someone who gives their all, or do you hold back? And you can put that in the comments. I'm going to just set the timer for 60 seconds. Are you someone who gives their all, or do you hold back? And just thinking about, like, you put yourself at work. Are you someone that gives your all, or do you hold back? Just thinking about, family relationships and, love relationships. How about that? Are you someone who gives their all, or do you hold back? Again, not placing any judgment on it, but just kind of looking at, are you that kind of all-in person? Hey, Quintina. Quintina says 8. Got it. 20 seconds left. Anybody else? On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you put yourself? Are you somebody who kind of goes all in, or do you kind of pull back? If you think about, like, with a business, are you going in 100? Or are you like somewhere around like 6, 7, 8? Olga says 8. Yeah. So that's what we are looking at tonight. And that's really what the second law of increase is really about. It is about how you sow the seeds. And so I've got a couple of announcements. We have opening prayer. We're going to talk about why universal law matters for you. We see this we revisit that every week. And we're going to look at, is your all on the altar? And then what does it take to withhold nothing? What does it take to withhold nothing? And then, of course, Q&A. So why? I think it's so important to know your why. I think you have to have as clear a purpose as possible. And, the thing about a purpose is that it is continually being refined as you move through your process. And I hit something the other night. So the purpose that that I have for myself, that I feel a call on my life, is to wake up as many people as possible to their innate divinity and inspire them to live from it. And then last night during the mastermind prayer call, something came out, and it was this need to heal or to support the healing for Black women or women of the African diaspora. And, it's been so important to me to not be put in that kind of box, right? Because I feel like what I offer belongs to the world, that these principles, they don't care whether you're Black, they don't care whether you're white, they don't care whether you're gay, straight, whatever. But there was something that came out in the prayer, and it was about going out and getting our sisters. And again, this is not a separatist thing. And that's really important to me for some reason. I don't, it just is. But I felt something different. So this need to heal, that we're talking about our mothers and foremothers who were raped, who didn't have control over their bodies. There were these constant attacks on the body. And something came up in the prayer last night. It wasn't about that. It just came up, and it was this healing of the centuries of mistreatment. And like I said, I'm still refining and listening. But again, I think you got to know you got to know why you show up. You got to know why you do what you do. And I'm particularly concerned about women who are disenfranchised. And in the country that I live in the United States, that is largely African American or Black. I grew up calling myself Black women. And so I feel some kind of way about that. So anyway, I'm sharing that. I don't know where that's coming from, or where, like, not what, I don't know, not that I don't know where it's coming from, but I felt like I wanted to say that and share that with you to let you know that your why is a continually refining thing. It's not like you get it and then you have it. It's that you feel something and you begin to move in that direction, and then you get more clarity as you go, and it gets clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. And so that was something that came up just literally like in the last 24 hours. So I want to thank you for your support. This Bible Hangout is free, but it does cost money to produce. And my intent is to take this all over the world. My intent is to have this teaching available to anyone who would want it, no matter who they are or where they are. And so I need your help to do that. There's just not a way to do it by myself. This really is a team effort. And so a gift of any size is greatly appreciated. It accounts for my time, but it also accounts for equipment and things that I want to purchase and services that I want to engage in order to begin to spread this out. You're going to start to see some things that are different with how I do the Bible Hangout, not just in the teaching style, but also in how the information is rolled out, because I'm interested in this traveling. I'm interested in this going and helping young women in South Africa and young girls in Ghana and, places like that. I'm interested in that, and touching Nigeria, which seems to have a pull on my life in some ways, in a lot of ways. And then, of course, our young women that are here in the U.S. And so your help makes a difference with being able to do that. And so I thank you in advance for your support. Grateful for it. Thank you. So the way that this series works, we're on the second law of increase. There is a blog which comes out on Thursdays, and the Bible Hangout on Thursday night, and we have the Universal Law Library. And I'm so excited about that because the intent is to build the largest collection or curated collection of information on universal law. And so I thank you for everyone who has been sending in material. This is a user-generated library. It's free. But it is a place where you can go where there's a collection of material. And I actually reordered the material in there so that the newest material is at the top. And then as we go, there's going to be a need to actually even refine it even more, because there'll be things that'll be grouped together, like all the videos on the law of vibration or all the videos on a particular area, let's say. So again, as the material comes in, there may be a section just on poetry. Alita from Chicago sent some poems in, and there are lots of other poems, things from Rumi and other poets that may get added over time. And so as it grows, I'll be working to like catalog and organize the information so that it's easy to find, and you can find stuff in one place. My book is out. Yay. So I'm in the midst of a soft launch. It is available for Kindle and print on demand. I think, Olga, you were the one that told me there was something going on with the Kindle. So I got to check that file, make sure that it is right. But my request is grab a copy and please leave a review on Amazon.com. I am working behind the scenes with my team to do a much bigger launch, and the reviews that you leave on Amazon will be there as the evidence that someone would be able to look at and say, oh, okay, this is a book for me, or oh, this is not a book for me. And so your honest review is greatly appreciated, and I thank you in advance for that. The scripture for this series is, do not think that I have come to abolish the law. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill. And that is Matthew 5:17. This entire series is about fulfillment of the law, that there is a divine law that is differentiated in many different ways, and that it is for our transformation as we fulfill the law, as we cooperate, because to fulfill means to cooperate. As we cooperate with the law, we are transformed from the inside out. And so everything that we are studying is for the purpose of that. And so let's just take a moment to just relax and just be in this space of openness, where we know that all things are possible, that there is not one thing that we do not have the ability to link ourselves with God and accomplish, that all possibility sits in our hands, that we have the ability to heal our families, to grow our businesses, to restore our marriages, to build healthy, satisfying friendship, lifelong friendships. All this is within our power. We have the ability to overcome fears and long-standing phobias. All of this is in our power. And it is through living in accord with the creative force of the universe that this becomes so. And so we have come together for the purpose of studying and understanding God on a deeper level. And so we give deep, deep thanks for the changes that will happen in, through, and as us, because we have dedicated ourselves to the study of God. I pray a blessing over this class. I pray a blessing over each person that is listening to this class or watching this class. May your families be blessed. May your homes be blessed. May your businesses be blessed. May your health be blessed. May your finances be blessed. Thank you, God. I know you hear me when I pray. And so I relax and I allow this prayer to become so. And so it is. And amen. So universal law matters for you because the universe acts as a mirror, giving back to you according to your purpose, your sincerity, and your willingness. It's not just what you sow, but also how you sow. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. It's not just what you sow, it's also how you sow. And the law of increase is as you sow, so shall you reap. So do not become weary in right doing. Oh, no, well, there's a whole other part. If you sow to the flesh, you reap from the flesh. If you sow to the spirit, you reap the things of spirit. So do not become weary in right doing. For God is not, I'm blowing this up. But basically you shall reap what you sow. There's Galatians 6 and 7, in case you want to get the actual language for the verse. And so this law has two parts. The first part we studied in the last session, which is as you sow, so shall you reap, which is if it's in your world, then there was a seed that was sown. Even if you unconsciously sowed the seed, it was still sown in your life. And the other thing that we talked about last week is that in a given day, each thought is a seed, right? Each thought is a seed that we plant. In a given day, every day we start the day and we're going to think 40 to 60,000 thoughts inside of a day. So we're right here. It's, 7 p.m. in California. So let's say we've made it through 30 of the 40 to 60,000 thoughts, 30,000 of the 40 to 60,000 thoughts. That's a direction. Because you're talking about, when seeds are planted, they're planted in an order, right? And they're planted according to a pattern. And you don't just throw seeds. I mean, there's such thing as scattering the seeds as a broadcast sower, but there's a precision to the sowing. It follows a pattern, and there is a pattern against which your mind has sown the 40 to 60,000 seeds that you have worked with today. We're not conscious of all of those seed thoughts. Some of them are just beneath the surface. We're not even aware that they're happening. They're just in the mind, running in the background, unchecked. And so that's the first part of the law. But then the second part of the law is about the spirit in which you sow. That our domain is seed time. But there's two parts of that. There's what you sow, and then there's how you sow. And so universal law matters because the universe is a mirror back to you. it mirrors what you give. It doesn't withhold anything. God doesn't withhold anything. But when you withhold, when you pull back, the universe can only give you according to the way that you sow. That's just it. You know, at the top of the session, I said, you know, rank yourself in terms of, you know, where you see yourself, and perhaps that can help you begin to see, oh, this is why some things are not going the way that I want them to go. I've been holding back. I haven't been giving everything that I have to give. There's more in me to give, but I've been resisting. There's a song that it's called "Is Your All on the Altar," and I went looking for this song because I thought this is well, one, it's a cool song. Yolanda Adams sings it. It's one of the most gorgeous songs I've heard her sing, and the lyrics are just beautiful. And the writer is from the 1900s, the late 1800s, early 1900s. It was written in the year 1900. And it was written by a pastor. His name was Elisha Hoffman. And this is what the lyrics say. They say, "You have longed for sweet peace and for faith to increase, and have earnestly, fervently prayed. But you cannot have rest or be perfectly blessed until all on the altar is laid. Is your all on the altar of sacrifice laid? Your heart, does the Spirit control? You can only be blessed and have peace and sweet rest as you yield him your body and soul." The song, it's about this complete surrender. Would you walk with the Lord in the light of his word and have peace and contentment always? You must do his sweet will to be free from all ill. On the altar, your all you must lay. Oh, we never can know what the Lord will bestow of the blessings for which we have prayed, till our body and soul he doth fully control, and our all on the altar is laid. Who can tell all the love he will send from above, and how happy our hearts will be made? Of the fellowship sweet we shall share at his feet, when our all on the altar is laid. The first law of increase is as you sow, so shall you reap. The second part of that, the second law of increase, is the spirit of your actions multiplies the result. And so you must always ask yourself and keep at the forefront of your mind, have I given my all? Have I given my all? How you sow is as important as what you sow. When you hold back from the universe holds back from you. But when you give your all, when you lay it all out until there's nothing left, the universe responds in kind, returning to you blessings that match the purpose, the sincerity, and the willingness you've demonstrated. And you know this to be true. You see this in sports metaphors. You see this and I shouldn't say sports metaphors, but you see this in sports arenas when there are major competitions, especially like at the championship level, that it's the team that leaves it all on the floor. The team that leaves it all on the floor is the one that walks away with the trophy in most cases. And it do not grow weary and right doing, because there's a point at which you hit that wall and perhaps the other team is up and you've got to figure out how to come back and then go further. And it is about giving everything that you have. And so that song just really resonated with me. I encourage you to listen to it. There's a few different renditions of it. The one that I love the most is Yolanda Adams, but LaShawn Pace has a version of it that's beautiful. I think Carlton Pearson even sings a song. It was written in 1900. It's been sung a lot of times. But the point is have you given everything? Because until you have given everything, until you have said, I have done all that I know to do, I have tried everything that I could try, then you can let go and you can say, okay, that's it. I did my best. And the thing is that the universe never leaves you hanging. The challenge is that most of us pull back. So our first lesson from this is withhold nothing. Withhold nothing. What you keep from the universe, you actually keep from yourself. What you keep from the universe, you actually keep from yourself. And so the remedy is you got to give big. Give what and how you want to receive. Give what and how you want to receive. Jesus said it this way. It's Luke 6:38. And the full verse says, give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For the measure you give will be the measure you get back. It does not get any plainer than that. The measure you give will be the measure that you get back. And so there is a challenge that we have on our lives to give, even when we do not know that the results will turn out the way that we want them to. That we must have the faith to go all in. We must have the faith to go all in. And trust that the scripture says it. I'm sure there was somebody that probably wasn't convinced, and it says he's not a man that he would lie. You got to ask, like, for what purpose would the all-encompassing divine lie? So, and this law of increase, it doesn't just appear in Galatians and in the verse that I gave you with Luke 6:38. This is a theme that you can find throughout the scripture. For with the measure that you give is the measure that you get back. Try me, prove me now. See if I won't pour out a blessing for you that you don't even have room to store. Just trust and give everything that you have. There are hidden gems in you that because you never give all, you never get to. Let me say that differently. There is what will feel like magic within you. That because you never give at the highest level for what you have the ability to give, so you never get to the magic. You always stay on the surface. And real living where you are in love with life and you enjoy life and you are just deeply committed to a divine purpose that is pulling your life forward, drawing you forward, leading you into greater and greater overflow, is because you hold back. There are things that you have the ability to do that you will never know that you have the ability to do because you keep living at the surface level. And I'm putting myself in this category, so I'm saying you, but really I need to be saying we. That in us are treasures yet exposed. And the only way to expose them is to get past the surface. The only way to expose them is to get past the surface. But if we will go past the surface, if we will do the work, right? If we will move past the mental inertia to get at who we really are and that which is only ours to give, untold riches await us. And I don't just mean money, but I mean the richness of satisfying relationships, the richness of love, the richness of satisfying work, the joy, that lasting joy that awaits us beyond the surface. And will we do that? Victoria says, I'm a bit confused on this. Does this include giving money? Yes, but it's not just about money. Isn't the only seed to be sown. There's also the seed of kindness. There's the seed of health. There's the seed of forgiveness, the seed of mercy. So this is all in, this is seed in a very, very general sense. Increase, when we've talked about it in a worldly sense, has often focused on money, but money is only one part of abundance. That abundance includes health and happiness, joy, peace, love, all the good things of life. Yes, Quintina says, give me your time, your talent, and your treasure. All of you. So it's not just the sowing of money, although that is one sowing, one part of it. But that is a part of it, not all of it. God gives the increase. So this was something, this is a little bit from last week, but I didn't get a chance to touch on it. None of us can make a seed grow. I mean, that's really not our job, right? So if you think about a scientist can tell you that an acorn becomes an oak tree, and they can tell you what to do to turn the acorn into the oak tree. But, you know, put it in the ground, water, keep the ground fertilized in this way. These are the ideal conditions based on our observation of turning acorns into oak trees. But they cannot tell you anything about how the acorn becomes the oak tree. Increase is exclusively God's domain. Our role is much simpler. It's plant the right seed, be there to pick it up when the harvest comes. That's it. And there's some nuances to that, which is to stay in the right consciousness so that when it comes time for the harvest, we can actually enjoy the harvest. But we don't have the ability to speed up, slow down, or stop a seed once it's been planted. Once a seed has been planted, is planted, and the harvest is on its way, period. And so where we get off track is trying to do God's job. And part of sometimes why we hold back is that, well, we want to say exactly how and when the seed germinates. We want to control the when, right? I want to plant the seed, and I want to say when I'm going to pick up the harvest. And I would like it on Tuesday at 2:00 when I'm on my lunch break. God, could you get it? You know, could you do that for me? That part is not our job. Our job is exclusively the seed planting, and sowing the right seed and sowing it in the right attitude. Sowing the right seed and sowing it in the right attitude. Constance says, that sounds so easy. Plant the right seed and be ready. Yes. Right. We talked about the readiness last week, about staying in that consciousness of plenty, not planting seeds of plenty and then moving to Lackville. Right. That's like the farmer planting an orange grove and then moving. Well, the trees are still there. The seeds are coming up. You planted them in the ground. So you when you plant, is to stay in the consciousness of that which you have planted. If you've planted seeds of plenty, stay in that consciousness of plenty. But the other piece is to realize that God gives the increase, not us. Joe says Tuesday at 2 sounds good. It sure does. Andrea says, thank you for asking the question, Victoria. Thank you for the clarification, Rav. Yeah. Thank you, guys. God gives the increase. God gives the increase is not our job. Olga says, but what about the soil we planted on? That's part of the seed time. That's part of the seed time process. It's cultivating the seed, cultivating the soil, well, and cultivating the seed. We talked about how who we are determines the character of the seed that we sow. That when you get, watermelon, and the watermelon is not sweet, you go back to, well, what happened in the growth, in the planting process? Because something was wrong with the seed. There was nothing wrong with the growth process and with the germination process, God's domain, but something was wrong with that seed. What happened with that watermelon seed? Where'd you get them seeds from? What happened there? So our responsibility is the seed time, making sure that we have the right soil, the right consciousness that we're planting in, and to make sure that we were planting right seeds. One of my new members, Kanisha, said something awesome. We were talking about interacting with people, and that sometimes we go to people looking for apples, but they have oranges. And we're angry that they have oranges because we want them to have apples. But it's to realize that the seed that is sown is the only one that you can reap. If you need greens, the universe does not say, well, I know you gave me, seeds for beets, but you really need greens, and so I'm going to give you greens. That's not what the universe says. The universe is not concerned with your need. The universe is concerned only with your seed. And so you must plant the right seed in order to reap the harvest that you want. And so if you want money, you have to plant the seed that grows into money. If you want apples, you have to plant the seed that grows into apples. If you want peaches, you have to plant the seed that grows into peaches. If you plant a seed for lack through wrong thinking, you can only reap lack, because the law is not going to say, I know she doesn't get this yet, I'm going to give her plenty even though she planted lack. No, I'm going to multiply what you give me. Constance says that is true. Plant in the seed of plenty and move to Lackville. Yeah, the right seed, because all the seeds are getting the same water, are getting in the same soil, getting the same attention. But what was the seed? What was the seed that you planted? And you ain't got to guess. Look at your life. You really do not have to guess. Look at your life. Your life is the evidence of the seeds that have been planted. No, you don't know my ex. It's not about your ex. Solve it in you, sow the right seed in you, and your ex becomes a non-entity. No, you don't know these coworkers and this job that I'm on, and they're so discriminatory. Sow the right seed in you, change your work environment. Either the job will get better or you'll be moved to a better position. I am a personal witness to that. Either the job will get better or you will be moved to a new position or a new situation. Solve it in you. Your work is in you. Sow the right seed in you, and the harvest is assured, because the universe is exact. The universe is an exact. The transactions that we make with God are exact. We can trust them. We can take them to the bank. Okay. All right. I just said that our area of influence is restricted to the seed planting process. So sow good seed. Number 3, you influence the amount of increase. Now, I thought that was something, right? That caught me like a ton of bricks. So you can count the seeds in an apple, but you can't count the apples in a seed. You just don't know. I mean, I cut up an apple yesterday with my with my yogurt. And I could look and I could see that inside of that apple, in the center, there were probably 5 to 7 seeds. But you don't have the ability to count the number of apples in a seed. If I take any one of those seeds, I have no way to know how many apples are coming out of that. We have taken that to mean that it's just a crapshoot, right? But we have to remember, we don't influence the growth process, but we influence the outcome through the way that we sow, because the spirit of our actions sets the amount of increase that occurs after you plant the seed. And so you influence the results of the seeds you plant in 3 key ways. Number 1, your purpose. How clear is your purpose? And I'm reading directly from the book on this. How clear is your purpose? How definite is your purpose? Sometimes we're sowing seeds and we're at cross purposes with the seed, meaning that we sow seeds of plenty, but we entertain thoughts of lack. Or something that was given to me, and it was like a little gut check. Sherri, you sow seeds of plenty. You give. You are a giver. You ain't got no belief to support the reception of the harvest, because you have, as far as it's done unto you according to your belief. So I get that you're sowing, but you got to have some belief that what you are drawing is going to come back to you. Because I can't give you more than you believe I can. I had to sit down. I was like, all right, God, school's in session. I'm willing to learn and grow and be different. So it's the purpose. Sometimes we sow seeds, but we're at cross purposes with the seed that we have sown. And so I started to pray last week, like in the last 7 days. Listen, God, I need your help. I need you to dissolve every seed that is at cross purposes with the seed of plenty in my life. I say I want this increase, but I'm at cross purposes with it. And so, which means that that both seeds are being sown. And so that means that every time a seed of plenty comes up, something else comes up to eat it, to choke it out. So the plenty is coming. It's just getting eaten up by these other seeds that are being sown. Constance, those darn weeds. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is that you have your, the other issue is your sincerity. Are you lukewarm or really intent and committed to your purpose? Oh, I can speak to this. Sometimes. You say you want to be a writer. How hard do you go at it every day? Now, I write every day, but how hard do you write every day with the intent? The intent, right? You say you want to sing. Do you practice every day? Get your scales in every day? Like what? How, it's that there's a sincerity to it. There's a way that you show up when you say, this is what I am claiming. And I begin to show up every day reaching for it. My actions reach for the thing I say that I want. When you go into the gym, you know, do you just show up and just kind of go through the workout routine? Well, no, you're going to get no results. You have going through the routine. I mean, yeah, that's better than not doing anything at all. But what result do you want? What result do you want? And that's the question that we have to answer for ourselves. And so you have to ask, am I free of hypocrisy? Right? Am I saying one thing but acting another, or saying one thing and thinking another? Am I free of deceit? Right? That desire that would try to get something for nothing, or try to run a scheme. Am I free of duplicity regarding my purpose? Is my dedication to my purpose as pure as I can make it? Is my dedication to my purpose as pure as I can make it? Because that part is my job. All of this influences the outcome. Again, I can't tell you how many apples are in the seed, but I can tell you whether or not it's going to be, a lot or just a little bit, because it's the how I sow, the nature in which I sow. Am I sowing with everything that I have, or am I holding back? Your willingness. Are you using that which you now have available to you? One of the things that I would see people say is that, well, you know what, I'm not going to, this was in Hollywood, when I was actively working as a producer, and I would run across writers who would say, I'm not going to write anything else for free. I mean, I hear you. I know you want to insist on getting paid, but listen, if you're not willing to use what you have, your talents, your gifts, your ideas, your mind, your materials, your purpose and sincerity are questionable. This is a throw everything up against whatever you got. I'm gonna throw every like I'm gonna throw it all up against the wall. Because until you do, those pie in the sky predictions of what you would do if, they're just that. How are you making use of what you have now? You say you want more money, but how are you being with the money that you have? You say you want love, but how are you being with the love that you have? You say you want companionship. The truth is that you have companionship right now, even though it might not be a lover, but you have companionship right now. How are you doing with the companionship that you have right now? Are you nurturing it at the highest level possible right now? Because like begets. So if you want love, start loving. If you want peace, start being peace. This thing is a little bit simple. And so the challenge that we have with this one is to be 100. Be 100. Have you done all that you know to do and given everything that you have to give for that which you truly want? Have you done all that you know to do and given everything that you had to give to that which you truly want? And that's why that song is so powerful to me, because listen to the lyrics again. Maybe you'll hear it a little bit differently this time. What he says is your all on the altar of sacrifice laid? Your heart, does the spirit control? When you're holding back, that's the ego controlling. When you're giving all, is I surrender everything to you, spirit. I'm giving you everything because that's it. You can only be blessed and have peace and sweet rest as you yield him your body and your soul. Would you walk with the Lord in the light of his word and have peace and contentment always? Is that what you want? Well, listen, you got to do his sweet will to be free from all ill. On the altar, your all you must lay. Oh, we can never know what the Lord will bestow of the blessings for which we have prayed, till our body and soul he doth fully control, and our all on the altar is laid. You get results when you put it all on the altar. You get results. You get results. That's it. When you're 100, you can count on it. It's going to work. And because that's how the universe works. Bring me everything you got. I'll put the rest of the puzzle together. You ain't got to get everything together. All you got to do is give me everything you got, and I will make the rest work. You got to take the fear out of your sowing. You got to take the fear out of your sowing. Fear taints your results. What it does is it acts like inverted faith, because what it is faith in the negative seeds. And so when we fear, we have essentially turned the things we fear into little gods, and we unwittingly pray to them through the action of fear. Fear makes us pull up rather than lean in. We don't give our very best. We don't believe that we can have what we really want. So we never go all out. We just hold back just enough so that if it doesn't work out, we won't be too disappointed. Of course, because we haven't done our best, we increase the chances that it won't work out. And preventative measures taken in a spirit of fear increase the chances of the very thing that you say you don't want is going to happen. Why? Because our faith has been placed in the thing we don't want rather than the true result that we desire. So saving for a rainy day invites the rainy day. Exercising to avoid illness invites illness. Eating to prevent obesity invites obesity. Whatever you run from chases you, and because you have put yourself in relationship to it by placing your fear or your inverted faith in it, it will eventually find you. And so we have to affirm victory over fear. And we have to remember, nothing can chase you if you don't run. Nothing can chase you if you don't run. Everything that's chasing you right now is chasing you because you are running. Andrea says, the way you just presented that reminded me that we do it all unto him. We might not want to give it all to a person or an endeavor, but remembering that we do it all unto God is helpful. Yes, yes. That's it. Linda says, be that which you want to see in the world. Yes. But we have to speak victory over fear. And so stop running from bill collectors. You're interested in something, do something every day, even if you have to take a micro step, even if it's just a, you know what, today is just going to be a baby step, but this is the sincerest step that I can take today, given the mood that I'm in and the, right? Because I might not be Gladiator, Amazon, you know, every day of the week, but I can take a micro step because I'm doing something like this. This is maybe a good question is, what's the sincerest step that I can take today? Recognizing that every day is not, spear in hand, war paint across the face, right? That's not every day. But what's the sincerest step that I can take today? And then do that. Because I say I want this. So I'm giving everything, God. I'm giving everything that I know to give. I'm holding back nothing. And so in the comments, here's my question. How has fear impacted how you sow in your life? How has fear impacted how you sow in your life? And I'll be the first to share, because this is, transparency session, right? Or as my friend would say, confession session. I know that fear has me playing small. The fear of, what is it? Is it a fear of being found out? Is it a fear? And when I say found out, I mean that fear of, I know my flaws, I know my limitations, and that they'll be seen and people will highlight that as opposed to the other stuff. Anyway, that's one way. So I go just enough, but I stay small. So something that needs to happen, I need professional headshots. That's just the real deal. I need professional headshots. If I'm playing on the stage with, Iyanla and Oprah and Elizabeth Gilbert and Marianne Williams, if I'm playing on that stage, right, and I can play on that stage, I believe I can play on that stage, then do the things that play on that stage, Sherri. But if I just keep it always in that space of undone, well, it's in that space of potential. I never have to prove that I can deliver at that level. So how does fear influence how you sow? How does fear influence how you sow? Victoria says, I've given my all into a ministry for 6 years because I truly believed I was doing God's will. And because I disagreed with one thing that they were teaching, I was put out. Will anything come of that? That's up to you, Victoria. That's up to you. That's up to you. What will you do with that? The question is, what good can come from this? You can name the bad that can come from it, the loss of friendships, the loss of connection, all of that, right? You can name that. But to ask the question, what good can come of this? And really sit and let the Holy Spirit reveal to you what's good about what happened. And it may be hard. And you may have to move through a space of forgiveness for the people and the decisions that were made. But what good can come from this? There is a, I have to find a way to send it, Victoria, but Bishop Carlton Pearson posted something recently on his Facebook page, and he posts a lot, and he posts like little mini books. They could all be ebooks. But he was talking about the state of conservative Christian America, and but in that he talked about waking up to this place where he's stopped believing in a God that condemned and and that there was a hell that you go to and all of that, and basically lost everything. And this was about 15 years ago. And he talked about how painful it was for him to lose that. But now that he's in the position that he's in, he's free to speak truth to power. And he said, I was in that, and I didn't even know how locked up I was and how unfree I was. I wouldn't go back to it for anything. But he had a serious road that he had to walk to get to where he is today. So the question is, what good can come from this? That the Spirit is always trying to bring you into something higher, something greater. I've got more for you. I'm asking you to come up a little higher. And sometimes, oh, I'm sorry, this just dropped in my spirit. And I love it because it's so catchy, that man's rejection is God's direction. And that, and I'm sorry, it feels like I'm switching gears, but it just hit me just like that. But your destiny is not tied to what left. Your destiny is tied to what's left. And so whatever is left is what you are meant to pick up and begin to build on the vision that God has for you. Sorry for that. Woo, that it hit me all in my gut. So man's rejection is God's direction. That means that was not your destiny, because God will never tie your destiny to whatever has walked out of your life, however it got out of your life. And so there has to be an emotional severance in you for what has already let you go. And so you can forgive them and free them and move into your overcoming. I'm missing some comments. So Quintina says, I have found myself in situations which I have not given my all because I am fearful of how others see me. Oh, girl, come on. Talk. Yes. 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 That I will attest to that. Yes. Yvonne says, the month of June, I tithed for the first time in a long time. By the end of the month, I ran out of money. I had to borrow from another account. There is fear to tithe for the month of July. Yes. I get it. And I understand. And what I can tell you is trust. You're doing a pattern interrupt. You're interrupting the flow. And it's to go to the Spirit and say, God, teach me how to do this. Maybe I need to walk back and build my way up to, but the law is exact. I can trust God to show up. I can trust God to show up. Andrea says, man's rejection is God's direction. Yeah. Constance, she said, procrastination, trying to break the chains of this habit. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let's keep going. So linked with God, we are limitless. By ourselves, we're limited. Absolutely. But we're not out here to be operating by ourselves. And so to what you were saying, Yvonne, is ask for the divine direction. That if the law is giving and receiving, right? If the law is giving and receiving, I need to come back to this. If the law is giving and receiving, and I'm giving and not receiving, then there is an unbalance. And sometimes we unbalance the law. Hold on. Oh, this is, I'm actually getting ready to teach. This is going to be my summer workshop at UP. So this is in that first chapter. This is Catherine Ponder's, make sure I get this, Open Your Mind to Receive. It starts this Sunday. So if y'all want to come on down to LA, she says something I thought it was powerful, that when we don't receive, right? Because we got this thing about giving, and this is me, I'm speaking to myself because this hit me like a ton of bricks, that we unbalance the law. And if we are giving and not receiving, we have a receiving problem. And so she gives some powerful affirmations that you can begin to use. And you start with the word. We'll get to this in today's conversation as well, that when you have a condition, right, you start with the word, right? Because the word, you start with the logos and you begin to speak what it is that you want into expression. And she gives an affirmation several times throughout out the first chapter. But hold on. She says, I am receiving. I am receiving now. I am receiving all the wealth that the universe has for me now. That if you are giving and not receiving, there's a block on receiving. And so you want to work on that block on receiving, because it's not about giving and not receiving. It's not about giving and not receiving. The universe takes care of me. The universe has my back. If God is mindful of a sparrow, if his eye is on the sparrow, then I know that he cares for me. And so I am receiving. I am receiving now. I am receiving all the wealth that the universe has for me. And then she has another one in here where she talks about dissolving the block. Oh, no, getting ready, getting yourself in position to receive. All that is mine by divine right now comes to me speedily, richly, freely. I am receiving now. With that, because, and this is something that I personally had to work with, because I am very much a giver, but I wasn't receiving in a way that matched with the giving. And sometimes we unbalance the law because we work on the giving, but we don't work on the receiving. It's like we think that the receiving is supposed to happen, that we're supposed to cultivate the giving, but we don't also have to cultivate the consciousness to receive. So it's both and, it's not either or. So I hope that helps Yvonne with understanding that, and to begin to work with that that affirmation. Yvonne says, but after reading your blog, I realized I was blessed the month of June by receiving a new position and getting out of a toxic environment. Yes, but I'm receiving all the wealth. My wealth is not just a new position. My wealth is also the money that I need. Andrea says, can someone record your sermon and upload it to YouTube on Sundays? I watch Christ Universal's Temple that way, and it seems to work well. You know, we can. We absolutely can. It's just time for growth, Sherri. But what I'll do with the class also, I'll try to Facebook Live the class. So I'll put that up. And the class is at 11 a.m. on Sundays, Pacific time. Okay, oh God, it's 8 o'clock. So buy into the idea that you're limitless and realize that nothing is too hard for God. Buy into the idea that you are limitless, nothing, and then realize that nothing is too hard for God. Number 6, be patient with yourself. Developing total dependence on God takes time. And when you think about it, all of us have spent years being conditioned to believe in materiality rather than in the invisible, to believe in ourselves as creators of what happens in our lives. That we have years of putting faith in what we can see versus what we cannot see. And when you give less than you know you can, sow a seed of forgiveness and start again. Literally today, I had this today. This blew my mind, because I was like, okay, Sherri, all right, girl, all right. So I was in the middle of writing this blog post, and the doorbell rings. Now, this church that we're in is it's owned by the Lutherans, and it's called First Lutheran Church of Inglewood. But a truck pulls up outside, and so I get an opportunity basically to get a gauge on where I am, with totally trusting the universe to have my back. And this guy comes to the door, rings the doorbell. I'm the only one here. And so I get up to answer the door. And when I get to the door, he asks for money. And he says, I need to put some gas in my truck, and I need to get a sandwich to eat. Now in my wallet, I had $50, but I gave him $5 because I've got a big car repair that I got to pay for tomorrow. And I just kind of came and sat back down. And as I was sitting down, Spirit said, that was your test. You don't think I can give that back to you before tomorrow when you need to pay for your car? So I forgave myself. Because in each moment, you just do the best that you know to do. Sometimes we want to guess at the purposes in somebody's heart. I don't know what that man's story was, but I had an opportunity. And I don't give based on what you're going to do. I give based on what's happening inside of me. And so when you hold back or give less than you can give, just sow a seed of forgiveness for yourself and reaffirm your total trust in the universe. And just know another opportunity will present itself. And I'm not saying right or wrong, give the person money, because you got to gauge what's happening inside of you. But I know that when I sat down, there was a feeling of like, gosh, could I have given more? And if I think, could I have given more, then did I really give my best? And I'm not saying give the man $50, but did I really give my best? So anyway, something to work with, again, is the bottom line is to be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself, because we have been conditioned. I know that when I did not share, that some of it was out of, oh, I need this for tomorrow, but I am divinely supplied. Does the universe have my back or not? And the other thing is to realize that when you sow a seed, that the purpose of the law is transformation. So the purpose of any of this is about developing you into the whole being that you are. Developing yourself into the whole being that you are. What you can do is put the word to work for you. And this is what I was saying to Yvonne earlier. No one sows and reaps in a single day. That's just not how the universe works. That's just not how it works. That what you're reaping today is the result of that which was sown previously. Right? So it's a process. And the consciousness that holds back and gives little, it didn't appear overnight. You built it through many years of conditioning. So the key to straightening out long-standing patterns of error thinking is to begin with the spiritual activity, which is the word, the logos. And so put the word to work for you. Begin to speak the word for the reality you truly want. And here's what happens, and this is the most beautiful part, right? Is that as you speak the word, as you begin to say, I am receiving, this is what I'm working with right now for myself personally. I am receiving now. I'm receiving all the wealth that the universe has for me. You begin to change what you notice. The word will redirect your attention to that which is worthy of your attention. And it'll happen so naturally, you will think nothing of it. It'll happen so imperceptibly, you might not even notice the shift. But the beauty is that as the word shifts what you notice, the character of the seeds in your hand will change, because you are changing. And different seeds bring different results. And so you begin with the word. You begin with the word. And if you will work the word will change for you. The word, the world, if you, let me say this differently. If you will work the word will change your world for you. And so you just begin. I am receiving now. I am receiving all the wealth that the universe has for me. That the Spirit of God is now dissolving every block in me to the plenty that is available for me. Lavish abundance is the rule of the universe. If you look at anything God does, it's lavishly abundant. That's just the rule. I mean, 23,000 bees, 24 different species of bees, not 23,000 bees around the planet, 23,000 different species of bees, 20,000 different species of trees, 2,000 different species of roses. I mean, this is, and when they give stats like that, they always have to say known, right? Because they're still discovering things. Right. And so you have to say that, okay, so the way that God does anything is lavish abundance. So if I'm a part of God's kingdom, and I am, then where's my lavish abundance? Oh, there must be something happening inside of me, because lavish abundance, when God gets to flow unobstructed, he flows in a lavishly abundant way. So let me work on me. And so I begin to say, I agree with lavish abundance. I agree with lavish abundance. Come through me in a greater way. Flow through me in the most extravagant, extraordinary, and incredible way that you want to, God. I am open. I am absolutely open. And you work the word. And as you work the word, what you see will change. You'll start to notice things that are different. And it's imperceptible. It's so slight you may not even notice it, because most of us are running through life with so many distractions. We're not mindful of the minute ways that we're changing and shifting. But if you will begin to work the word will change you. It'll change what you notice. And as you notice different things, it'll change the character of the seeds that you are sowing. And as the character of the seeds that you sow change, the results follow. And so you work it until it produces for you. You work it until it gives you a different result. Finally, what about the negative seeds that were sown, right? Maybe you sown some seeds you wish you hadn't sown. I wish I hadn't sown the seed of fear that I wouldn't be able to pay the car bill that's due tomorrow, right? If I had to do it over again, it really wasn't about whether or not I gave him 50 or 5, right? What was really the issue was that I sowed in fear. It wasn't about whether or not I gave him 50, 5, $10, $500. The issue was what was happening in me at the moment of exchange. At the moment of exchange, what was happening in me? And what was happening in me was a feeling that I need this in order to do something tomorrow, meaning that if I give, I'm going to have less. The fear was, if I give, then I'm going to have less. And so again, it wasn't about whether I gave him 50 or 5 or told him no. It was about what was going on inside of me. And so when we sow negative seeds, there's several possibilities, right? So the first thing is that you might not have to meet those results in this lifetime, right? That seed may never come due as a bill in this lifetime. But the other thing is that you are never presented with more than you can handle at any time, as long as you put your trust in your creator. As long as I stay connected to God, whatever fruit comes from that seed sown, I will never have to worry about not being able to handle it. And then you can know that whatever seed I've sown or you've sown is for a purpose. It's for my benefit. This is about transformation, right? And I can get help from God in meeting the results. All I have to do is ask. And then to realize that there are higher laws, like the law of grace, the law of forgiveness, and others that enable me to meet the conditions that I've created without going through all the chaos and trauma that I ordinarily would. And so it's just to realize that you haven't been left alone. The universe is biased towards your success, and we're not punished by the universe. I'm not punished because I was fearful that I wouldn't have enough for the car repair, right? I wasn't punished by that or for that. And in that moment, I can turn to, which I did, turn to the divine presence within and ask for the grace to relearn the lesson. Ask for the grace to dissolve the fear. And so just remember, this is from the Sistine Chapel. We can always turn to the divine presence for the grace. We can always turn to the divine presence for the grace. And that grace is sufficient. And so I want to take a pulse. What area of your life can you make a change and begin to give your all? Where can you do something different? Where in your life can you make a change and begin to give your all? You got 45 seconds. Where in your life can you make a change and begin to give your all? Constance says, I notice with me that when God is fulfilling the orders that I've sent out and I'm in such a place of peace and happiness and plenty, I realize that I put my foot on the hose because I start to think this is too good to be true. Girl, yes. Just yes. Just yes. What area of your life can you make a change and begin to give your all? Can you do it in your marriage? Can you do it? Is there a friendship where you can begin to give your all? Is there maybe with your children? Where in your life are you ready to see something different and you can begin to give your all? Yvonne says finances. Victoria says, I will continue to devote myself and cultivate my music ministry, and I'm going to continue to sow good seeds everywhere I go. I will no longer fear commitment. Me either, girl. Me either. Andrea says, I can lead with love. I fell short in that area today, and I have to forgive myself. Yeah, girl. Listen, maybe you had a Ronald at your door too. His name was Ronald, by the way. Quintina says, stop taking things personally. It is only about me when I make it about me. Yes. Joe says, with her family. Yes. Olga says, trusting God with everything and fear not, and just give my all to my business and my finance. Yes. Constance says, because you just said, speak the word, I have to really ponder that before I say, okay. Got it. I know with me, I'm giving my all to love. I'm giving my all to love. Oh, you just got that, Andrea? About the Ronald. Okay. So it's time to do something, right? Because it's time to sow in the manner that we want to receive. And so my suggestion is, after this video, if you go back, the keys are on page, hold on, I don't know if I can see that. The keys are on page 42 in the book. Your purpose, your sincerity, your willingness. This is where he asked the question, how clear is your purpose? How definite is it? Is it in accord with the creative forces? Your sincerity, are you lukewarm or really intent and committed to your purpose? Are you free of hypocrisy, deceit, or duplicity regarding your purpose? Is your dedication to it as pure as you can make it? And then your willingness, are you using that which you now have available to you? If you are not willing to use what you have, your talents, gifts, ideas, mind, materials, your purpose and sincerity are questionable. Pie in the sky predictions of what you would do if are just that. So go back to that. That's on page 42. And take a look at it and say, where can you make a change, right? Do I need to work on my purpose? Do I need to work on my sincerity? Do I need to work on my willingness? And then narrow it down. Pick one thing, right? Because when we try to do everything, it's too hard to do everything. Pick one thing that you can make, that you can commit to changing, and make a definite plan of action. So I'm going to work on my purpose. I'm going to get rid of all things that are at cross purposes with the seeds that I'm sowing. I'm sowing seeds of plenty, and I am absolutely destroying all seeds of lack or fear, or things that are at cross purposes with plenty. And you make a definite action plan. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure that I get up in the morning and do an meditation on plenty. I'm going to, write in my journal. It's like, what is a definite plan of action? And then finally, leave a comment on the YouTube video for this lesson. What was your biggest takeaway, and how can you use what you've heard? What was your biggest takeaway, and how can you use what you've heard? Any questions? Any question? I love this chapter. Next week, we're going to talk about Jesus and the parable of the sower. So we're still in the law of increase, but I really wanted to narrow in on Jesus and the parable of the sower, because it's such a powerful parable. There's so many levels to it, where, one, just realizing that the sower is God, and that the different types of soil are the different types of mind, but the parable is about God and about how God gives to us. But then it's also to realize that we are the God of our lives, and that the same way that God sows seed as a broadcast sower, and I'll explain what that is next week, that we also sow seed in the same way, and that those seeds are landing in the soil of our minds. It's powerful. Eve says, I will give all my Primerica business in order to be regional vice president by summer 2019. Yeah, I stand with you, Eves. Yes. Yvonne says, you go, Eves. I'm in agreement with you. I have a business where I want to succeed also. Yes. Quintina says, the ability to be committed to follow through on my purpose is now clear. Victoria says, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. Isn't this book the bomb? I'm telling you, whoever voted for this, y'all did it. Because I didn't know this book. I'd never heard of this book before. So I'm so grateful that you guys voted for it. It is awesome. It is absolutely awesome. Constance says, woo, this is a lot of meat. Girl, yes, 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 yes. So the last part of the chapter, it starts on page, it's a section that begins Jesus and the law. And it's 47. It starts on page 47. Constance says, I tried to get you to do this book before. You did. You did. I wasn't ready. But I'm ready now. I'm ready now. And I'm all in. No holding back. I'm all in. Yeah, it's the bomb. You guys picked an awesome text. So I'm in love with it. Let me just say, y'all were right. I was wrong. Whatever resistance I had to it, I don't even know what it was. So have a great night. We'll finish the last part of chapter 3 next week. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for an honest review on the money poems. As I prepare for the bigger launch, out and walking past my fear and playing big, getting the professional shots done and doing the things that a Marianne Williamson would do or that a Jan Van Zant would do. Thank y'all. I'm stepping into it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Good night, guys.